Hello everyone, myself Sowmya, Assistant Professor in CSE AIML Department, MLR Institute of Technology. So in this video, we are going to discuss about selectors, jQuery selectors. So this video is going to cover element selector, ID selector, class selector and other examples of jQuery selectors with example applications. So what is meant by this jQuery selector? So in the previous video, we have seen the basic syntax of jQuery. So in that syntax we have the selector. So which element you are selecting from the HTML page to perform the actions. So the jQuery is going to perform some actions on a particular HTML elements. So in our HTML application we have so many elements. So which element you are selecting, which group of elements you are selecting. So that can be done using this selector option. So the first one is element selector. So before that we should recall our syntax of jQuery. So $selector dot action. So the first selector you are taking as element selector. So if you want to select any particular element, any particular tag name, you can specify the tag name directly within the double quotes. For example, I want to select all P tags. Then you can specify P within the double quotes. We know $ is common for all the things. So this we know, this is a common syntax for every jQuery program. You need to include this source file, right, from the CDN link, or you can also use the local path if you install the jQuery in your system. And after closing the script tag, I'm opening another script. Here, when you need to execute this, whenever the document is ready. How to mention that? $document.ready. Then do this function. What is this function? I have a button here. So this program is indicating the accessing the elements, selecting the elements. So if you want to select a particular element, just specify the element name. What is the element you are selecting? Button element you are selecting. So if you click on this button, what I need to do? Define a function. What is this function is doing? $P, select the P element and hide that. So what is the overall thing is happening here? We have a button. If you click on the button, the paragraph elements will be hidden. Right, all the paragraph elements. We are not specifying any particular paragraph. I am simply specifying the tag name as P. Right. So that is about this jQuery statement. And we will now see the HTML content. That's all jQuery. Whenever you want to close your jQuery, close the script tag, close the header section, and then I'm opening the body section. Here I have one heading, two paragraphs. The heading is saying this is a heading, paragraph, this is a paragraph, and this is another paragraph. One heading, we have two paragraphs. And after that, we also have one button. And then you're closing the body part, HTML part. So this is the output I'm getting, one heading, two paragraphs and one button. But what is the action I'm performing here? Whenever you click on this button, these two paragraph elements should be hidden. So that is our logic that we have written in the jQuery part. See, whenever the document is ready, whenever you click on the button, all the paragraph elements should be hidden. So in my program, I have one heading, two paragraphs. So heading will be there. Why? Because I'm not accessing that element, I'm not modifying that element, but the paragraph elements will be hidden. So that is the output I should get here. We'll try to execute this. So I'm getting one heading, two paragraphs followed by one button. If I click on this button, two paragraphs elements will be hidden. So that is our program. So next is ID selector. So previously we have selected the elements based on the tag name. So now we are going to give some ID to a particular element, and based on that ID you are going to select the element. So if it is an ID, you should indicate a symbol called hash before that ID. And we know ID can be given, ID should be unique and a single ID should be given to single element. So here one example for that, we know this part is common for every jQuery program. Why? Because you need to include the source file of the jQuery library. And now I'm writing another script for my jQuery code. So when this should be executed, whenever the document is ready. Whenever the document is ready and we have a button here. So the tag name is button tag. So whenever you click on this button, what should happen? a particular element should be hidden. What is that element? The element which is having the ID as test. We don't know the element here, whether it is a paragraph, whether it is a heading, whether it is a table, I don't know. Why? Because I'm not mentioning the tag name here. See, if you see here I'm specifying the tag name, so you're going to click on a button. That's fine. But here, a particular element should be hidden. But what is the element? What is the element? The element which is having the ID as test. How many elements will be there with this condition? Only one element. Why? Because here I'm specifying the ID. ID should be unique and this ID will be given to only one particular element. So that particular element will be hidden whenever you click on this button. Now we will see what are the elements we have in the HTML page. So I'm closing the script, I'm closing the header section. In the body section, I'm creating a heading, another paragraph, second paragraph and button. So we have these things in our output. But out of these things, which element is having the ID as test? Which element? The second paragraph. For the second paragraph, I'm giving the ID as test. Oh, so only this particular element will be hidden whenever I click on this button. So that is the logic of this program. We'll try to see the output. So this is the output I'll get. If I click on this button, this particular paragraph will be hidden and remaining thing will be as it is. So this is the output I'm getting. One heading, two paragraphs followed by button. If I click on this button, only the second paragraph should be disappear. See, the second paragraph will be disappeared. Again, if I click on it, nothing will happen. So next selector is class selector. So the problem with the ID is, ID can be given only to one particular element. But I want to apply this logic a group of elements. Then in that case, I can give a common class name for all the group of those elements. For example, in that group, I have two paragraphs and two H1s. So for all these tags, I can give a common class name and with that class name, I can apply this logic, right? So if it is a class name, before the class name, you should specify dot. If it is an ID, you're specifying hash, right? In the same way, if it is a class, you're specifying dot before the class name. So now this is the common statement for every program you're going to write. Why? Because you're going to include the jQuery library file. So now I'm opening another script for my jQuery code. So when I want to execute this code, whenever the document is ready. Whenever the document is ready, do this function. What is this function? Whenever you click on a button. So what is the element you're accessing here? Button. Whenever you click on this button, what I'm doing? I'm hiding. What you're hiding? Dot test. Dot test in the sense the elements which are having the class name as test. So here it might be one or more elements. Why? Because if it is hash test, there will be only one element. Why? Because it is an ID. ID will be given to only one element. But here it is a class name. The class name can be given to one or more elements. So here how many elements will be hidden based on the HTML program that will be decided. So it may be one or more elements. So that's all. You're closing the script head and I'm opening the body section. Now here in the body section, I'm creating a heading, a paragraph, another paragraph followed by button. So these are the four things I'm going to get in the output. So whenever I click on this button, what will happen? The elements with the class name test will be hidden. See, for the first element, the class name is test. For the second element, the class name is test. For the third element, there is no class name. So that means whenever you click on this button, the first two elements should be hidden. The third paragraph should be as it is. So that is the output of this program. We'll try to execute this. So this is the output I am getting. If I click on this button, the first two elements should be hidden. Why? Because those elements are having the class name as test. See, if I click on the button, the first two elements are hiding and the remaining paragraph is showing as it is. So we have these selectors. Along with that, we have other selectors too. So these are some of the other selectors which we are using in our programs. So the first one is star. Star indicates it will select all the elements in the HTML document. For example, in your HTML, you have some 10 elements, 3 paragraphs, 3 H1 tags, 1 anchor tag, 1 table tag, 1 list tag. So like that, if you have all the elements will be selected if I use star. And we know this refers to the current element, right? If I use this, only the current element will be taken. And next is p.intro. So what is the element you're using? P, but the class name is intro. So all the p elements with the class name intro will be selected. For example, I have 2 p elements, I have 2 h1 elements. For all these things, the class name is common, that is intro. But I want to apply the logic only for the p elements with the class name intro, then in that case, I can choose this. So here only the first 2 paragraphs will be considered here. So next is p:first. So we have multiple p tags, but in that multiple p tags, select only the first p tag. So in that case, I should use this syntax. So next is :button. So :button will select all the button tags. So all the button tags in the sense it may be a button tag or it may be a input type is equal to button, right? If I access only a $of button, then only the button tag, the tag name should be button will be selected. But if I want to select all the button tags in my program including input type is equal to button, then you should use the :button. So this one particular program which indicates the star. So here we know this is a common code and here I'm going to execute this code whenever the document is ready. Whenever the document is ready, whenever you click on the button, hidden. What will be hidden? All the elements will be hidden. Why? Because I'm using star. Star indicates all the elements of the HTML. So whatever the elements are there in your HTML part, all the elements will be hidden. So what are the elements we have? We have H2, we have P, another paragraph and followed by button. If you click on this button, all the elements should be hidden. Try to execute this program. So here I have heading and 2 paragraphs followed by button. If I click on button, see all the elements will be hidden including the button. Why? Because the button is also one element. So that's why all the elements will be hidden. So that's all about the jQuery selectors. So we discussed about the basic jQuery selectors like class, this, ID, the tag name, and also the other selectors like star, p:intro, p: the class name, and so on. And we have also seen some example applications in this video. Thank you.